Everybody, welcome to the show. I am here. Amy is here. Hey, look at the Tard. There he is. There's the Tard joining the crew. Hey, pal.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Welcome back. How are you? What do we got? I see some wood paneling.
Yeah,
Nice
basically,
paneling.
I have
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
these things in a in a hotel that's close
What?
to me. Because I don't have streaming capability at the place I live. The Wi-Fi is just not good enough.
Tell me
And
you didn't go to a hotel. Go get a hotel.
No. I go into a place nearby that has very good Wi-Fi that shockingly does not ask you to have a password for it. I don't even know how that's possible, but I won't. It's
So
crazy.
wait, are you in a room? Are you in like their lobby? What's going on here?
Well, no, like in this one, I last year actually I did the whole first season of my podcast here in literally the lobby of a hotel where people were walking by regularly because I didn't know what to do
You're
about it.
hilarious.
He kept getting yelled
getting
at.
yelled at?
He kept getting yelled
Seriously?
at because he was
Did he
so
really?
loud.
Yeah, and eventually kicked out. And I found a different place that I'm gonna leave on the DL. But I found a different place that works. And where I'm at now is wild because it's basically this really fancy room that has like a big fireplace and there's all these chairs. But in the early season here, no one's here.
It's so funny to me. Like
I know where you're
I know.
at.
I see people all the time that like news breaks and they'll just jump on their phone
Yeah.
and be like in a restaurant somewhere and be like,
Right.
so I saw that this is going on in the world and here's what I think. And I'm the guy that's like, I can't answer the phone in an airport. I'm just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm in the airport. Click.
Oh no, it's
Like, dude, I have to be in my little cave. I don't want anyone around me seeing
I don't
me.
want this.
Yeah.
This isn't ideal, Mike. This isn't my ideal.
I know, but I would think I would know, like you'd be whispering, like totally, like you seem relatively normal. And
Well, I would say, like I said, because of the situation we're so early season where I'm at, and being midweek, like a Wednesday, there might be someone here, but there's not really. I had a time last year with Amy where literally a guy came out of his room and told me to, because where I record with Amy, there's like a hotel, there's a room right across the
hall.
Guy came out of his room and told me to be quiet.
Yeah. Well, you are obnoxiously loud.
I know.
And way louder than you realize. Did you get new pink glasses or something? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone recently.
He's had those for a minute.
I've had them for about a month, but someone did say on one of the episodes I was on with you that they're like, "Oh, was I wearing Amy's glasses?" No, these are mine.
Okay.
Pink glasses. I have purple prescription sunglasses I got as well this year.
Very good. Very good. I need to get some new ones. I've got more pressing issues. You know, this whole tooth thing I'm trying to figure out, and it's looking like it's worse than I anticipated. So this is going to be
Mike, did you know?
Fucking shit show. What?
Speaking of, if you're mentioning a tooth, did you know I currently now have a fake tooth?
Where?
Right. One of these ones up here, up front. Is
on the bottom or top?
Yeah, on the bottom. There's a fake tooth there, printed from a 3D printer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do? What did you do?
It was annoying. It is partially my fault and partially just unfortunate incident, bad luck. But I'd had this since I was in high school. Essentially, a permanent retainer on my front, like 5 teeth or something, and it was there for since high school. But in my 20s and 30s, I never went to the dentist because I didn't have insurance, and I just felt like my teeth didn't hurt, so I didn't think anything of it. At one point, it broke and was pushing the tooth out, and I didn't even know it. And it got to a point where it
finally went. Yeah.
Well, the guy, it didn't fall out ever technically, but he's like, "This is getting really bad, and you need to finally really do something about it." So
dude,
he yanked it out, and there's a fake one there.
This tooth issue that I'm dealing with, that I've been dealing with for a while, is one of the reminders to me when people talk about like the trans issue, and I'm not going to go down the trans rabbit hole, but anytime, when you're young and reckless, and I'm not going to convince anyone otherwise, like, oh my God, if you don't brush and floss every day, you're going to run into problems when you get older. But
yeah,
I've had a handful of surgery. I had my gallbladder taken out. I've got teeth issues right now. That's probably a type 2 diabetes thing. and bone loss. And anytime you have a replacement, anything in your body, it ain't the same. I don't care how small it is. You don't even fucking realize. So when I see teenagers like, yeah, I'm getting a double mastectomy because, I'm a boy. And you're like, dude, okay, dress however you want. Fucking dance around and act like an asshole. I don't care. But you start fucking with body parts. I don't care if it's a pinky toe or a single tooth. It is different forever. It is forever changed. There's no fixing it. Whatever, if it's nature or God, I don't care what you believe in. What you were given, the more you can hang on to that shit, the better off you'll be. Trust me.
It really sucks because it's funny. My experience, I won't go through the whole aspect of it, but my experience was like, even when he got me to do it, he's like, you're going to need to just do this finally. Like, I don't think there's anything else we can do for you. You're going to, and I'm like, okay. But I still could have gone and asked another dentist, maybe, even still, to be honest with you, I'm just going to a guy.
Yeah.
And then after I have it, he puts it in, it's done. I've had the surgery. I paid the $4,000+
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, by the way, I probably wouldn't eat things like an apple anymore on your front teeth or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you mean for a month? He's like, no, forever.
For good. Yeah.
And so I'm cutting up apples now. On my lunch, I cut up apples and eat them on the side of my mouth.
Yeah.
I think about it. I'm only a month out, but I think about it every time I eat from now on. Like if I get a burger, I'm eating on the left side of my mouth.
Try losing your front tooth in Mexico.
Yeah. Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, because that's super fun. Yeah. This tooth. Yeah. I'm in Mexico and I bite into, we're at this super nice restaurant. It was the one night that we were going to go to a nice restaurant, and I bite into harder bread or whatever, and I swallow it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, my tooth isn't there.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And my sister is a dental hygienist. And so she's like my go-to, whatever. I handled it surprisingly well. If you ask anybody that I was with, I think they probably thought that it would have ruined my vacation because we still had 2 full days there, and I didn't have a front fucking tooth. Okay, so I have a picture when I'll pull it up when I'm done telling the story. But so I was like, I go outside, I call my sister, and I tell her what happened. She's like, listen, I will get you an appointment Monday when you're back. Just don't stress out about it. We'll get it taken care of. So at that point, I was like, well, fuck it. I mean, I'm not going to see any of these people again in Mexico. Who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let this ruin my vacation. There's literally nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do.
Did you try to pop it back in and use some gum? Because
no, I think I swallowed it. I swallowed it.
Oh no.
I didn't have it.
You pooped it out?
Yeah. So I just maybe
you definitely did.
I think I was looking for it for a few days, but I never found it.
In your poop?
Yeah.
No, I think I was just curious to see am I going to shit this out? And I don't recall it.
Yeah, you were looking in the toilet for sure. I don't know if she wore gloves, but she was breaking stuff up.
I wasn't grabbing it, but before I would flush, I'd look to be like, no teeth in there.
What if you had seen it sticking out?
Then what do you do?
And got it.
She would have grabbed it.
I would have just been like, oh, okay. No, I just would have been like, okay, well, there it is.
Little white corn.
I was actually a little bothered that I didn't find it. It bothered me. I still think about it sometimes. Is it just floating around inside of me like a little lost twin?
Yeah.
You have extracted it by your species.
Well,
so
go ahead.
Well, what's funny is one of the nights we went to the bar, they were doing face, glow in the dark face paint. And so I got this whole thing on the side of my face, and I kind of looked like Mike Tyson. So I was just kind of acting like Mike Tyson without a tooth in all my pictures that night. So honestly, and I just didn't give a fuck the rest of the trip. I just didn't smile with teeth. And then anybody else who saw me, I was like, yeah, I lost a tooth earlier in the trip.
What are you going to do?
Take one in there?
Here's,
I assume, right?
No, she still has a hole.
Yeah.
What was yours made of? How long ago was it? What was
porcelain. I don't know if it's porcelain or whatever. It's 3D printer then same thing.
Okay, I didn't know how long they've been doing.
Well,
yeah.
Mine.
I'll find a picture.
These two on either side of your front teeth are get the most stress on them. I've learned so much about this.
Yeah.
When you eat, those canines take on, that when you're chewing and stuff, those flex a little bit. And I had a tooth that I cracked as a teenager, opening a beer bottle.
Right.
And I split a molar, and I got that filled, and then it's just never the same. It's not what God gave me. It's man-made now. And over the years, that cracked. And then it was just like, well, it's not painful, and it's really expensive to go to the fucking dentist.
Yeah.
Even with dental insurance is horse shit. So even with that, it's still really expensive, and I don't just have a few grand. So I'll just focus on eating on the other side. Well, I found out way later than I should. My dentist, Dr. Maria, was just like, hey, look, man, none of the work I do is going to matter at all unless I have to fix this. Like, you don't understand. Like, it is so, like, the design of the human body works in concert. And the fact that you've got this broken tooth down here that doesn't hurt, doesn't bother you, you eat on the other side, you eat on this side, and whatever, is applying double pressure to these canines. And I had two of them either side, which is how I broke both those teeth. Then you throw diabetes on top of it, and bone loss comes with that, where the bone starts receding and shit. Dude, it turns into a fucking nightmare when your system's not running the way it should. So it's funny though, like, I'm reaching out to my dentist in Michigan. I think I'm going to come home in a couple weeks, get a consultation and all this. And it's funny who I reached out to. I texted Drew, of all people.
Yeah.
And like who's my father figure? Who's my go-to? Like, when shit's really going, and it's still fucking Drew, of all goddamn people. And I'm like, I'm scared, man. I don't know, like, what this is, and it's amazing how just like even small conversations with him, all these years later and stuff, it's just like a calming presence. And, we'll see, but I got news today. The dentist looked at my x-ray that was more recent and was like, fuck, dude, there's some serious bone loss. Like, and it's like periodontist getting it, like, it's a whole thing. So, I had this whole trip that I was just getting ready to book to come home, and I was hopefully like, hey, Ames, let's grab lunch, and maybe we'll do a show at your house or at fucking Trav's or at Drew's. And it's like, it's more of a bummer than I hoped it would be. And it's just like, but I don't know. It just reminds me every time I see these kids parading around like, oh yeah, I'm trans. And I'm like, dude, fine. Dress up any way you fucking want. Don't even fuck with a tooth. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Ready?
No.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that trip. But holy shit, dude. Look at Rocky. look at Rocky hanging in there like a champ. Like, yeah, I'm with white trash fucking Barbie.
Yeah, that's because I was like, let's take a picture of my ghetto ass tooth.
Yeah, look how young and hot you are, though. It doesn't even matter.
Right. Yeah, no one really cares. Really.
She's 23-year-old smoke show. It doesn't matter.
So I should say this was actually this was recent. This was my fault because I had a fake tooth there already. And
don't tell me this. Don't tell me this.
And I didn't get the permanent one in.
Oh,
and so I just did the temporary one. So I don't know if you can see it in that picture, but there's kind of like a post there. So I had a fake tooth already on there, and it was my fault for not getting the permanent one. So like the fake one was gone is what happened.
Gotcha.
So.
I thought,
it wasn't like my regular tooth.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to get off on this kick, but look where it leads. Who knew?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Both of you have dealt with that. You'll deal with it for the rest of your life. And Isis, it's funny you bring up eating an apple because it's radically changed how I eat anything.
Yeah.
I'm like George Costanza with a Snickers bar and a fucking fork. Like, dude, I cannot grab sourdough bread at a restaurant at a steakhouse and just be like, that's just like, you can't do. And I'm literally jealous of people because
or you're
I see
biting
how
it on the side of your teeth.
Oh yeah,
you're like,
Dude,
I went
I'm
out
doing that with soup on the side. Like I could just pour it down and swallow it. And I'm so jealous when I go into a restaurant. I see people just holding court and fucking like I notice it. I see it.
I
It's
went
just like,
to a
yeah,
restaurant this Saturday and I had like just a general club sandwich and I was cutting it up.
yeah.
Cutting up with my and the thing is it's because it's like I spent this money. I really don't want to minimize as much as I can the chance of it happening again or the chance of this thing breaking. Like I just
Yeah, no, dude, it's a forever thing. And if you break it and it's like every time you do, it's another minimum $1,000. Like I've had replacements where it's like, yeah, it fell out. We can put it back in for $1,000. We still have the tooth. It's not in the toilet like Amy's. You can bring it in and they can, save you some. But when you get to my point, it's like God only knows what what they're going to cost. No, go ahead.
What's kind of ridiculously embarrassing is like when they told me that they really thought I should do it. And if I weren't coming up to the island, to be honest, this summer, I actually think I might have been like, I just want to give it a second and maybe gone to one other dentist just to see if someone felt like, no, this isn't as bad as that guy thinks it is. And I was like, I just did it. Yeah. Anyway, they showed me the bill and so stupid. Like I knew this couldn't have been the case, but I saw the number and I thought, oh, that's not as high as I thought. I thought this was going to be at least like $1,000 or something. And she's like, no, this is $4,500. I thought for
$450.
A second, I thought it was $450. And I was actually like, oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Were you in some back alley in Detroit?
No. I was in a place in Wixom, but
obviously.
Yeah. No, just for a split second.
If it were $450,
I don't know. Somehow in my mind, I was just like, oh shit.
Well, Amy and I were recently talking about how we are just kind of human, like our way of doing stuff. It's like, yep, I got one estimate on the roof. Sounded good to me. And like, we'll go with that one. And like, like that's just how we, and so I have to fight that so hard when it comes to stuff like this, because look, this is their field. The dentist tells me like, oh, this is what we need to do. It's like everything about me goes, all right, I'll pop in the seat. Let's do it.
But just like Jay used to say, lawyers, dude, you know how many people pass the dentist? Think about when you drive on a road, how many dentists you might see within a half hour.
Yeah.
All those people graduated. My dad's gone through something his whole life that I won't get too into, but like, I think his dentist was fucking stupid because he had like issues with his teeth and his dentist kept like, oh yeah, no, honestly, not a big deal. And then all of a sudden it's like, he went to somebody else and they're like, dude, this is fucked kind of.
Yeah.
And so it's like, they're not all the same to me, to be honest with you. Well, and you're right. You know what I worry though about when it comes to like a dentist or a doctor getting a second opinion? I have serious worries that then that doctor is going to be offended that heaven forbid, I asked one other person what they thought. And now they're going to be weird about it. Oh, you went to someone else and asked them? What does that mean? You don't trust me? You know what I mean? Like I worried when I was going to get my shoulder, I thought when I broke that a few years ago and I thought maybe I was on the line of surgery or not. I remember thinking that if the one guy told me surgery, I wanted to try to man up and be like, okay, that's cool. I wanted a second opinion from someone else. Yeah. But then my worry is that dude takes it egotistically and it's like, oh, fuck you then. And maybe that won't happen. Maybe
I don't think they do, but I know the feeling you're talking about. 100%. But I think they understand.
I would hope they don't. I would hope they would just understand, but I feel like I worry about it.
Yeah. No, dude, we all have the same insecurities and the same fears and like, oh my God, I'm going to offend someone. And it is what it is. You got to look out for yourself because nobody else gives a shit. That's what it really boils down to.
I know.
It really does. Like the dream world I lived in of like teachers never say anything bad about their students when they're in the break room, and nurses never talk about your tiny dick behind the fucking when they're in the break room and talking. They never would talk about patients. That's unprofessional.
Of course. Why would they?
Of course, they're laughing at all of you. And these people, it is what it is.
We're almost at the 20-minute mark, and I've yet to mention the Karen
dude,
Reed
you are
trial,
gonna fucking
so I just want to
literally piss people off. I'm collecting stacks of emails on you. I know you don't give a shit, but it's just hilarious.
I literally could not possibly care less
which is
if anybody gives a fuck.
Well, give me a minute. Can we mention the fucking Pistons' giant win last night first?
Ooh, I'm wearing the hat.
Yeah,
Can you believe it? I know. Isis, I appreciate that. Do you guys have hope?
Great
Do you have
wins.
hope?
Yes and no. Here's the only thing I'll say. If you wanted hope, what you would say to yourself is that the Pistons have been in every single game.
Oh,
they maybe could have won every game.
They should have.
So, right.
They shouldn't have lost. Like, dude, that foul at the end of the one game, 100% should have been called.
Right.
Three free throws down by one. You're going to bang two of those with a second left in the game. You're going to win that game. And they, coughed up, inexperience got them, and they coughed up a big lead in the other games. So, yeah.
If you want hope, that's the hope, right? That they've been not only in every game, but maybe could have won every game.
Yeah.
Of course the worry is that you got to win these 2 games in a row, and how Knicks are a good team too, and it's for whatever reason in the playoffs. I was talking about this. Why is it? And I actually think you'll know the answer, Mike, and I think I do too. But why is it? In the regular season, you can go on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the playoffs and you're down 3-1, it's like in all forms of sports, it's the hardest thing to do and rarely happens. Why can't you just win
trying
3
harder?
Why can't you just win 3 in a row?
When you're playing the same people night after night,
I know.
There's a whole thing, and it just takes it up a level. You feel it. You're hanging on every bucket from the first tip till the buzzer. As a fan, you are.
Starters are playing more.
What's kind of cool about this, Amy? I think you'll dig this. I got a text from Forey 2 nights ago, and Vinny Johnson, 007, the microwave, was at the bar watching us the other night, and was like, "They're spot on. Their coverage is spot on." And I'm like, that is so dangerous. Yeah. I think, I don't remember exactly what we said, but we were talking about dude, stars become stars in those moments. Cade Cunningham can't miss 2 12, 14 footers with 10 seconds left. You just take away the foul that should have been called. Jordan doesn't miss that shot. Those guys don't miss. That's how you create your legacy in this game. And it's Vinny Johnson was sitting in the bar watching us and was like, "They're spot on. They're 100% right." It was like, oh, yeah. Thank God he probably didn't listen to too much of us.
Yeah.
God knows what else we talked about. That is so dangerous that they have us on at the bar right now.
What bar are we talking about?
They're all probably wondering about Karen Reed.
They are. Well, I'll let you do a stupid Karen Reed thing in a second. Hold tight. She's so pushy, dude. These white suburban fucking women are unbelievable. She's so pushy.
Well, what are you going to do about it? That's the thing.
Yeah. So it is the Deer Lake Athletic Club in Clarkston. Jesus. Full gym, fitness classes, 3 pools, swim lessons, tennis, pickleball, and more. They offer summer memberships, kids day camp too, the backcourt restaurant. Wonderful food inside the Deer Lake Athletic Club is open to the public with weekly dinner specials, kids meals for $5 on Thursdays, and live entertainment on the weekends. Make your reservation now for their Mother's Day buffet. That's coming up. What is Mother's Day? A week or 2 away?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's coming up.
I think, a couple of weeks.
In the Deer Lake Banquet Center. So make your reservation now. Visit their website, deerlakeathleticClub.com, for more info about the club, restaurant, and banquet center. And thank you to them for always having us on at the bar. I apologize in advance. I know Amy crosses a lot of lines and could potentially get us in trouble. And you guys going on that, walking that balance beam with me every day is not lost on me. I appreciate it. I know how reckless and dangerous Amy can be. So thank you for the faith in us that you have.
May 11th.
You know what I'm not going to do,
May
though?
11th. Okay. What?
You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to lie to the feds like Jen McCabe did.
Oh, boy.
That's what I'm not going to do.
Did she lie on the stand or to the feds?
She lied. So she lied to the feds, and the federal investigation information that both sides received from the feds had this whole interaction about her lying. So they were basically using it against her, but it's a pretty interesting lie. I want to tell you about it. It'll only take a second in all seriousness, but I did want to show you guys something. You guys would both appreciate this. So Jen McCabe, again, she's a huge witness. She was involved that night. She was involved the morning they found him. She's the one who has the Google search at 2:27 in the morning of how long to die in the cold. She's just super shady. In my opinion, she's kind of the ringleader of the cover up, in my opinion. So
you think
last trial,
ringleader of the cover up? I always thought of her as like not involved in anything. It was just a dipshit on scene. Like ringleader seems like a strong word. I mean, you certainly know more than I do, but
oh no, she was very involved in coordinating everybody's statements. She was getting screenshots from people to line up times to make sure that
really
she's so involved.
Okay.
So involved.
So what is her relation again?
So
Is
she's
she
a huge
is she the
witness.
sister to someone or the wife of
sister of the homeowner?
Sister of the homeowner. The homeowner is a cop, and the body was found on
about 30-year Boston
Okay.
cop.
Gotcha.
Yep. So so she was in the last trial, she was completely unhinged. She was losing her mind, and she came off as insane. This trial, she walks in and I'm like, oh, okay. She's been reading the comment section. So let me just show you a side-by-side of Jen McCabe in trial number 1 versus Jen McCabe in trial number 2.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can see where this is going. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been reading the comment section. Okay.
It's kind of like
and she shows up.
It's like Skeletor, Caitlyn Jenner or something.
I was just gonna say it looked like Caitlyn Jenner on the right. I guess I think that's how that comes across.
Yeah, so that's her now with her big ass cross. God, she's so gross. But you know, her hair just freshly blown out, clearly a spray tan. Ton of remember when I was telling you about the under eyes, Mike?
Yeah.
See the big difference of her having a ton of under eye stuff here?
Yeah. She could use a little bit of lip filler
right?
too, not to be, not to nitpick.
She could. Yep, a little in the upper lip.
Yeah.
So when she walked in, I was like, "Oh, okay." So she's been getting coached, and you can tell that boy, was she coached.
Is her hair lighter too? Or is it just the image?
Yeah, her hair's lighter. Her demeanor is completely different.
Softer.
But it's like when you watched her the first time, you're watching this going, this chick is insane. Like, this is not the same person. Like, this is kind of bizarre how she can flip it like this. Anyway, so I think I've mentioned it before, but the FBI was investigating the investigation. Okay. So Alan Jackson, Karen Reed's attorney, starts questioning Jen McCabe today. And he's, yeah. And he says, you were approached by, they're not allowed to mention the FBI, by the way. The judge has said you can't mention that it was the feds. You can only say it was another law enforcement agency. So
why? Because it gives
so they're not allowed to
certain reaction if you find out it's federal law enforcement, the FBI. Is that
too prejudicial to the Commonwealth? Not to Karen Reed, but to the Commonwealth. Yeah. So anyway, so he's like basically saying, these two feds show up at your house, and she's like, yeah, they walk up to my car. First of all, could you fucking imagine? You're just sitting in your driveway in the morning and two feds are like, knock, knock, got a couple of questions for you. And so she's like, he was like, you agreed you'd talk to them, right? And she was like, yeah. And he said, but you told them that you needed 10 minutes to prepare, right? And she was like, I did. And so he goes, and then when they asked you, did you call anybody in those 10 minutes that you used? And he also said, and you were told to lie to this body, even in just an interview, is a crime, and you could be charged. And she was like, yes, they did tell me that. And he was like, so you knew you couldn't lie to them, right? She was like, yes, I knew that. So they say to her, hey, did you call anybody in that 10 minutes that you made us wait for you? And she says, yeah, I called two people. I called my husband, Matt, who had just gotten home, and I called Carrie Roberts. And Carrie is the other woman that was with her and Karen the morning they found John. So those are the two people she tells the feds that
she called.
She calls. So then she ends up talking to the feds for a few minutes, and then she says, I don't feel comfortable moving forward anymore with this, and I'm going to ask you to leave. So she asks them to leave. They leave a card. And they said, call us if you think of anything else. So then her husband says to her, you have to call. He says, who did you call? So this is right when the feds leave. He says, who did you call? And she tells him, and I'll tell you in a minute, but he says, you have to call them back, because if they find out that you lied to them, That's a problem. So she calls them back immediately, within 10 minutes, and says she forgot that she actually called 5 people. Not 2 people. She called 5 people, and she forgot. Yeah. But she remembered now. 10 minutes after they left, she remembered. She just wanted to clear it up.
Sure.
So she called the 2 people I mentioned earlier. She called John O'Keefe's mom, which is the victim's mother. She called the district attorney's office, because of course. And who else did she call? She called Brian Albert, the homeowner. Didn't disclose any of that to the feds, though.
Yeah.
So Alan Jackson kept going, so you lied. And she was like, no, I can't say that I lied. And he goes,
but you did.
But did you tell the truth? And she was like, I forgot.
Yeah.
And he was like, you forgot after 10 minutes?
Is the jury in the room when this is going on?
Yep. Jury heard
they're
everything.
Not going to buy that.
The second, like, she wasn't doing a bad job. This is all new, this trial, by the way. We didn't hear this the last trial. The second, I think that jury, if I were on that jury and I heard that story, I'd be like, how am I supposed to believe anything you say? You literally lied to law enforcement because you quote unquote forgot, but you want me to believe that you remember what happened, that Karen said I hit him. You want us to believe that? I think her credibility is shot.
That's a real problem in any scenario. You know, if you get pegged like lying about something small, big, whatever, you can't help but your credibility. Then you go, well, what else are they willing to say? You know what I mean? Because nobody in their right mind, no matter how much you want to believe, even if you're totally believe that Karen Reed is a murderer and you believe this girl, you want to believe her story on the witness stand, you'd be like, we got to get past that because there's no fucking way in hell she forgot about the other 5 phone calls she made. Like, you know what I mean? Right. There's no way.
One of them to the homeowner.
Right. Yeah. And the district attorney. I had a friend get in trouble once.
The people they're investigating, that's who the feds are investigating, is the district attorney's office.
Yeah. I called the district attorney once when I had a friend get in some trouble that was kind of serious. And I called Dave Gorsica because I knew him. The DA in Oakland County, or was he the prosecuting attorney? Whatever. But it's like, there was only one reason I called Dave. I was like, yo, dog, I need your help, boy.
Exactly.
Holy shit, you ain't gonna believe what this asshole did. I need someone on the inside to give me a little help if you can. You know what I mean? Like,
but is it if you're telling the truth in an interview, do you really have to call those 5 people before you start telling your story? Like, are you really? If feds showed up at my door, I would be so freaked out. Like, I wouldn't be disappearing for 10 minutes and calling all my fucking co-conspirators. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just such shady behavior. And we haven't even gotten to Michael Proctor yet, who was literally fired because of what he did on this investigation.
Well,
so again, I would be shocked if any jury found her guilty. We shall see.
In a case like this,
she's not done on cross-examination, by the way.
In a case like this, though, Ames, you need to put into context of when this happened a couple years ago and who those people thought they were at the time, and now trying to explain away behaviors and actions when you think for God knows how many, a decade, 2 decades, you've been running this shit. And you're a phone call away from dismissing. Do you know how powerful that is? Like, I got a speeding ticket going over to a buddy's house, and the buddy's house I was going to was a cop, former cop. And I got one of these, and I going 15 over on the freeway, got pulled over. I got to his house, and I was like, man, this fucking guy popped me, gave me a ticket. He's like, hold on. Phone call. Hey, man. Yeah, Officer so-and-so. Yeah, he just popped a buddy of mine. 5 seconds later, that ticket was gone.
Yeah.
The power in that moment. The power, like, imagine if you've had a lifetime of married to a chief of police and your best friend's this cop and that cop. Like, so now a second trial and trying to explain the behaviors that took place in the immediate aftermath, like, that's really hard to explain away.
And Alan Jackson did a good job in his opening statement telling the jury what a powerful family this really is, all the connections that they have, you know, their history in law enforcement. And they also made an interesting point in terms of, you didn't know these officers. This was from an agency that you weren't familiar with. It wasn't from the Canton PD where you've got all these friendlies. They weren't the Massachusetts State Police where you know the lead investigator. You didn't know either one of these people, and you wanted to end the interview because you didn't feel comfortable. You're a law enforcement. Like, the thing that I don't understand is, like, I can understand if you want an attorney present. I would probably have an attorney present if I were talking to the feds, to be honest, just even if I were completely innocent of anything.
Yeah,
but
they're not your friends.
No, they're not. But when you are a law enforcement family through and through, and you really didn't do anything wrong, why is talking to a different body make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're law enforcement.
You'd want to help.
Why don't you look at them the same as Canton PD or the Massachusetts State Police? Why act different, you know?
Yeah.
So
no, it's interesting. And for those of you, and I've seen your emails, I know that get annoyed with the Karen.
This has been a long second, I feel like.
Yeah, this has been a long second. I agree. Keep in mind, trials last a couple weeks and then they're gone. And then the suburban
6 to 8 weeks.
The suburban white chick who gets totally fucking engulfed in this stuff, you get them back after that. So just keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world. It's not like, you know, everything you're going to have to deal with. No, I honestly, I find myself fascinated with your depth of knowledge of this stuff, Ames, to be honest with you. I find it funny. I'm going to continue to make fun of you. Listeners are going to make fun of you. I know you don't care. I kind of like, it's okay. But I know Isis is getting bored, so I have to do some fun stuff for Isis too. On Isis Day.
Talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back in 2 seconds.
Oh, okay, thank God.
She dropped that mic down ever fucking leave. Yeah. Wow.
I didn't think she'd ever fucking leave, Isis.
That was a very long second. She said a second. I wish I could go back in the timestamp because she said a quick second, and I believe
what happened.
It was like 7 minutes.
Did we? Oh, all right. Hold on. Let me. God damn it. Let me send a text.
Some technical situation.
Yeah, you know what it is. Please. If Marshall is upstairs playing video games, and apparently because it's a cellular connection, if he's doing a bunch of video games with his buddies and stuff, it fucks it up. And so usually he knows, but he's 10. So, you know, I have to just be like, hey, G, make sure Marshall's off the games. And he's really cool about it. But I just got a thing there saying like, oh, signal squirrely. And it's like, fuck, I forgot to say. So, and we're going at a time that we don't usually go at. So usually he doesn't have to turn that off till, 20 minutes from now.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I just sent G a text like, hey, no video games. I'm live right now. So anyways.
Technology is incredible, and yet it still can be halted by not that much.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if I can do a story.
Someone suggested you're on the comment that I broke Amy's heart. Because he laughed because I made fun of her, and then she just, I gotta get out of here. And all of a sudden he laughed. I don't think it would take
No, she's fine.
I would say.
Yeah, no, she doesn't give a fuck at all. She's back. What does her shirt say? Playing Guts. Are you back, Ames?
Guts shirt.
Yep.
Nice.
I thought, here was my fear. When you walked away, it was like, normally I'd just go on to another story or something. But then I'm like, she's going to walk back 1 minute in the story and be like, what are you talking about? And
I'm not a fucking dumbass. I could pick up what you're talking about.
Yeah, sort of. But there's detail in this one that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
And it's a, so this nurse, she's a nurse, raped.
Oh, I saw this.
A 15-year-old stepson.
I think I saw this, and did the husband do something bad?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought maybe the husband walked in or something.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Oh. I mean, that's not really bad. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks, but.
Oh, I thought he didn't kill him.
No.
Well, she should have been the one that should have been attacked, if hypothetically the story was.
Yeah, or her, I guess.
In fact,
either
kid,
one.
I should have pre-checked this, but I think.
Oh, it was his son, right?
Oh, was it?
Oh shit!
It's so, or no,
God
wait.
damn it!
This was her stepson?
Yeah, stepson. So Alexis Von Yates. God, I hate the name Von Yates because then it just keeps coming up over and over.
Von
It's like
Yates said this, and
Alexis
Von Yates said that.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you can find a picture because I didn't see it in there. I had AA Ron pull a montage of pics of her. See if you can find them, Ames. Alexis Von Yates was overheard making a comparison. She said that the youngster looked like his dad, which I think is common.
Yeah, that isn't how genetics tend to work.
Yeah, so
but
Frank,
a much younger
the husband,
version of his dad, though.
Yeah, a lot younger, like half his age. Frank walked in and saw her. I love what raping her son. I guess it technically is. There she is. Yeah, that mugshot sucks. Is she tatted up or is she wearing something there?
Hard to say from here.
Yeah. The victim overheard the suspect telling his father she was sorry. The victim looks like his father when he was younger. The day after Alexis is said to have told the boy she didn't realize how big his privates were. It looked like his dad's dick with younger skin. Oh, God, it's even worse.
Oh, my God.
Von Yates was arrested last summer and charged with sexual battery on the boy who was 3 years under the age of consent there in Florida. She's been banned from working as a nurse. The boy told investigators how she began raping me, and then we heard the garage door go off. And, of course, he couldn't pull out. He couldn't stop. He's 15-year-old virgin. So he just keeps going, and she's like, oh, yeah, she doesn't stop. Like, isn't that the move? Like, you pull out and run or something?
Dude. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
I mean, you got dude, you hear a garage door opens. That means the car's at the end, at minimum, at the end of the driveway, has to pull in. She's not talking to us. What happened? Okay. Hold on. There. Amy, are you there?
Sorry, I muted myself because Miggy was barking. I knew I had like 30 seconds once the garage opened.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing. And I used to make my mom call me on her way home from wherever she was because I would tell her that I was scared when I was home alone and random noises scared me. So I didn't want to be like scared by the opening garage. So to just let me know to expect her coming home. So
Did she buy that bullshit?
Oh, of course. I was her little angel baby. But yeah. And so I knew like when she would call me, I had like 30 minutes. When I heard the garage, 30 seconds. You got to get it together. Get out from under the blanket, you know?
I got caught once on a couch. I'm probably 17 years old. Girlfriend would have been 15, 16 maybe. I don't remember how old we were. But high school, definitely in high school. And it was one of those where you had the front door and then a screen door.
Yeah.
And on the couch in the living room and heard the screen door. And it was like, fuck, jumped off and just like pants are on the ground. And it's just like Afghan over the two of us. And just sitting on the couch like, hey. And the mom backed into the door because she was shopping and had bags of stuff. And it was just like, the screen door opened and then the door opened and she backed in and turned around and was just like, this is like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome back. Not jump up. Do you need a hand with those bags? There was no jumping up.
Yeah, right.
And she fucking set the bags down and then walked over to the couch and sat right down between us. Just like, so, yeah.
She knew.
What are you guys? She didn't rip the blanket off, which would have been a complete fucking disaster.
Well, she would be in jail right now.
No, we were both underage. But it was just like, you know, she wasn't dumb. She knew, and she was just like, okay, I'm going to go to my room or whatever. And got up and finally walked away. And it was just like, fuck, putting pants on.
I remember my mom used to... My mom used to walk. I'm just remembering this. She used to walk up to us and go like this to like separate, like for us to separate. She And she wouldn't say it. She just wag her fucking finger. I'm like, stop. What are you doing?
E, when you were like 15, what did your mom do?
Nothing. There's no story.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry about that. My bad.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
so
including
Frank pulls in. Sorry, but I was just trying to involve you in the discussion. My bad. Totally forgot about that. Well, it could have been a beat-off thing. You could have been in your room.
I mean,
that
those
totally.
had some of those close calls, I guess, but
yeah. So Frank pulls in the garage. He's probably got to close the garage door. I mean, the red alarms are going off.
Life, sometimes
idiots.
I think about this, like, and these could be in almost any story you do. In reality, it has nothing to do with this story in particular. But think about life and like think about that dude. He's married. He's got the stepson and stuff like that. He's pulling into the garage. Nothing is going to be the same after this. Nothing.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. He's thinking like, I bet she's making dinner right now. I wonder what we're having.
They're on tonight, wherever they're from,
Yeah.
Helping my son with his homework.
Excited for whatever.
Maybe he wants to talk ball before we before dinner. Maybe we get out there.
And we know now that in like minute 30 seconds, everything's gonna change forever.
It's all done. Everything's over.
And the world's gonna know that he has weird old dick skin.
Yeah. And his kid's hung, and his dad's
great advertisement for the kid, though.
Oh, hugely great advertisement for the kid.
Pun intended.
Yeah. It wasn't that a plot line in a
porno.
What was that? Kids like coming of age, not a porno, coming of age movie where the one with Stifler's mom and all that stuff, where the girl was like, she was taking, American Pie, where she was taking money from kids to brag about how huge their dicks were.
Yeah.
She never seen it, but was like, I'll start spreading the rumor that you're super hung. Sure. And so stuff like that. So this kid, I mean, he's making out like a bandit. So the dad walks in and is just like, what the fuck is going on? Good reaction. Fair.
What would your reaction? It's so funny. Like, what would you do? If you put yourself in that position,
that'd be horrible.
I think I'd just be like, okay, well, all right, this is crazy.
He started throwing objects. Called Alexis there a cunt and a child predator. And while I using the C word when directing it at a woman, you're a cunt. That's harsh. It's never called for. But I got to say, in this scenario, I think it's the move. That's kind of cuntish to bang his son.
Crazy.
Yes, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. If there's ever a time to use the word, I think that's a time.
Yeah. The boy told the cops, I was a virgin. Yeah, I was a virgin. He suffered, this is where it's like a little bit of eye roll emoji starts going up. He suffered extreme emotional distress as a result of the alleged rape. Spends most of his days sleeping. He's lost his appetite. He's extremely fucked up now. He struggles with substance abuse. At what point is this just kind of excuses for shitty behavior?
Honestly, I think this one more than any of the others, I sort of understand because it was his stepmom. So like basically your relationship with your dad's fucked up now too. So like I could see how maybe that is like adds an extra layer of like fuck upness to this that isn't normally there. Where it's
a lot
just
of times
like,
it is just like,
it's
just like a teacher.
Just some hot teacher and some 17-year-old kid. Like, no, you're fine. You're not losing your appetite.
So the wife, the teacher and her husband or whatever, yes, that's a terrible situation. But the son is just, but you're right. This is like his dad. But
this is his dad. Like his relationship with his dad's fucked up forever. Yeah. So it probably is suffering some of those consequences. I reckon.
Yeah, and see, Mike, I think that's what almost what Amy just said there. I think, and I know you like to have fun with it, but I do think where it would be is more just maybe a realization of like, oh shit, like for this little thing, I've really fucked my life up. You know what I mean? Like
for the first time ever, he realized
laid. It's more like, oh shit, this is gonna be my whole life.
The more details I read about this, the more I was like, oh yeah, this was coming. You could see this kind of coming a mile away. It's like stuff like her saying to him after a gym session, I bet everyone thought you were my little boy toy.
Oh boy,
like,
yeah.
Who's hanging out at the fucking gym with their stepmom? Like that seems weird. Like you know what I mean? Like most guys at 15 don't want anything to do with their parents. I know I didn't.
Usually you have a real, you're like, you're not my real mom, or kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like,
you guys, he saw his opportunity to literally live out all of the pornos he watches at night when he's falling asleep.
Yeah.
So
by the way,
big category.
It's
a big category.
This is almost taking it too seriously, but I do think this is like the chickens coming home to roost with all the level of porn that's out there and the level of
he's so grown up
desensitization we've gotten.
I know,
but I'm serious. Like the desensitization we've gotten to like this shit. There's so many studies on it now, and I think that's probably where this is fucking like something like this. That's where this is coming from.
Yeah, it's not weird to fuck your stepmom.
There's certain things like in your mind that you're seeing it on this. Oh, it's not normal, but it is because I've
been watching this ever since I was 13.
Why would there be 1,500 videos on Pornhub about it if it wasn't something that people were interested in?
Oh, dude, if there's a woman who drops her keys and gets stuck with her ass up, pantsless behind the couch and trying to get her keys, like I'd probably stick it in her because I'm like. That's just, it's so, I had no idea how many of you women were out there Winnie the Pooh in it, getting your arms stuck in a washing machine. Like, I didn't know that was a thing, but what if I run into it, it's going to be like, the brain's going to click and be like, I know what to do here. I've seen this movie.
Perspective, the stepmom, like the way she's talking, like we must have just reached a state where a lot of people are just in their mind they decided this is not a big deal, and in a weird way, but it is, but it isn't, or something.
Well, I got a notification that said Ron put those pictures in there, but I don't see them in there because the ones that I saw were like a lot of kind of bikini ones. And so you could imagine this woman walking around the house in a bikini and around this kid, a 15-year-old kid. It's not really your mom.
What would you? I really
it's not your mom for
That's
real.
That's just it. It's not your mom.
How awkward would that be for real? Like you get a stepmom and she's. I'm not even saying this girl because I haven't necessarily, but I'm just generally like she's hot.
She's hot enough, is what she is. She's got a good body.
Stepmom. And so, like, you go on vacation or something, and she's, and you said scantily clad, and you're like, oh.
Prior to them having sex, they spent time together vaping cannabis oil, playing video games, watching movies.
Is a groomer, man.
Like, dude, that's a date.
Groomer.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, she started telling the teenager, oh my God, I'm so horny. I haven't had sex in a couple weeks. Like, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. She wore white shorts with cupcakes on them and a pink bra at the time. He started kissing her neck. And then she's like, I wish you were 18 because you're not old enough. And then she kicked off her underwear and began blowing him. And that led to intercourse without the use of a, I can never say that word. They didn't use one of those. She occasionally was saying, oh, fuck, this is so bad. And then you hear the garage door and you don't fucking do anything.
I mean, this is just a porno. Like, this is more than any of these I've ever seen.
I know.
Any story you've ever told.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Because maybe it's just because the details we have in it, but like, it is 100% her living out some fantasy that she's seen in a porno and him being a kid who's like, why not, I guess.
Yeah. The teen said when questioned by his dad, he refused to tell him what had happened. And then she starts telling the husband, I told him to stop.
You didn't.
Oh my God.
No, you didn't. He told his dad, that's not true. And feared he was going to get his ass beat by his dad with a belt before his dad decided not to. He was then taken to his Nana's house, to his grandparents' house, with his dad telling him on the way that you've ruined my life, according to the teen. And I got to say, as far as the dad not beating his ass, calling her a cunt, I'm on board with all this. I'm on board with this move by the dad too. So the kid said, yeah, dad stopped for a 6-pack of beer and then was drink driving on the way to Graham's.
Oh my God.
Call him out way to call him out on that, by the way. Look what you've just done. And now you're saying dude.
Yeah, now you call him out for drinking and driving.
Man. No offense, like he knew it. She's given all these signals. He's never told his dad anything. Now he's saying, now I'm more on this idea of that he shame, or not the shame, but all the shit that you were saying. I don't believe it as much anymore. I think this kid wanted to get laid. He saw it was there. Because telling in an interview that your dad, he grabbed a 6-pack and was drinking on the way, dude, zip your fucking lip.
Yeah, you got to shut up about the drunk driving part. And yeah, I think your old man's earned a 6-pack on the way to Grandma's house. He's going to have to explain to Grandma and Grandpa why we're bringing old little guy over.
Why he's getting divorced. House. Why his son has why him and his son will have a real relationship forever. Like that, they all have to hear that now.
Yeah. So he gets to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and the kid said, yeah, I was discouraged by my grandpapa from calling my mom, my biological mom. So you can imagine that played out, and the grandpa's like, all right. Yet the grandpa's going, fuck. What do we say here to his mom? The following day, the teen called Von Yates and told him that I wish Dad hadn't have caught us. It's like, well, you had the fucking alarm go off with the garage door, dipshit.
Yeah, right.
His father eventually put an anonymous tip in about the incident to the cops. An unknown person, went over and reached out to the teen, saying his father was willing to protect him if he testified. The teen was informed that his father didn't want to live with his stepmom any longer. Yeah, I bet. That'd be a hard one to get back into. You know what I mean? She was arrested, blah, blah. She's not a nurse anymore. But so...
She out on bail? They let you out on bail?
I think so. So does that open the door for the retap for the kid? If Dad's not hitting it anymore...
Valid question.
Like, seriously, the kid, trust me, once he gets in there once, he's going to want to get back in. It's just the way it goes. We've seen this play out before. The other question I have is, can you get to a day where you and the old man can have a laugh about this, have a beer about this?
Totally, you do.
You think so?
100%. 100%. Yeah, because I think the dad gets to a point where it's like, thank you for saving me from that crazy bitch.
Yeah.
And I think the son gets to a point where it's like, holy shit, she manipulated me. I'm really sorry. I'm glad that taught me a lesson on not to deal with crazy bitches going forward.
Yeah.
And then
assuming that both, I think you're right. If these people are both very emotionally stable and can process what happened.
Correct.
That's asking a lot.
And it sounds like, I would think they were going to need therapy, and it's not going to be like tomorrow, but I think when the son's older, maybe they can look back and laugh, or maybe when he's, circling back to make amends when he's, going through the program at some point.
Now what about this, Michael? Do you think that a dad plays it cool, tries to be responsible, looks like he's being emotionally, they go to therapy, yada, yada, long game situation, his son gets married and he tries to bang the wife.
Yeah. I mean, what's good for the goose, as they say, right?
Right.
Gandering around the goose.
A long game situation.
If the dad's devious enough to play that kind of long game, I think you could get to a point where if it's true good-natured ball busting like guys can do, where it's like, remember that time? It could be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, over a few beers. And it's like, hey, what'd you expect? You brought a whore around, when I was 15. What'd you think was going to happen?
Right.
Exactly.
Because I think Amy, you're right. The dad's going to get to a point where it's like, oh boy, I dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
That is, there's no question about that. If it wasn't going to be now, it was going to be later with somebody else.
It would have been another kid. kid down the street, right? Because if she's interested in vaping, watching movies, and playing video games with a 15-year-old, she's certainly interested in doing that with an 18-year-old down the street too.
It's like when the parents like them to well, if they're going to drink, I'd rather drink here in my basement. I know they're safe. I mean, this is kind of the same situation.
Yeah,
I do get that though. I do get that. Like
what?
Being the parent where you're like, okay, if you're gonna do it, at least do it here under my eye. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I get that. Like, you also don't want to be the parent that does that, but you also know that they're gonna do it anyway. And so
I think my feeling on that, and I get it that we all come at it differently. My feeling on that in reality is I think you have to kind of do it. I think you can't just, the parents that are buying kegs or some shit to me is over the line. Like, but I think you have to like know what's going on, but also like.
But at the same time, because I had multiple parents that did this, a divorced mom.
Yeah.
God damn it, Dedek. Their parents, Margaret, she's a good woman. They were old school, fucking right off the boat Germans, and they were just like, yeah, get as shit faced as you want downstairs. Just no one's driving, no one's going anywhere. Keys on the counter upstairs. Boys, have fun.
Yeah.
And I also had a mom that was like, I'll pick up the keg. And her, thinking back, it was probably irresponsible because we just got fucking annihilated. We're crushing kegs, but it was absolutely under that philosophy of, well, I know where they are. And if I don't pick up a keg, these 17-year-old animals, 18-year-old, 16-year-old animals are going to go to some seedy ass neighborhood and pay some clown on the street to get it for them. Like, at least I know I'm getting a real keg and a real tap, and they're not going to get robbed, and they're not going to get in shit, and they're not going to drive somewhere.
Right.
Like, my mom would take people's keys.
Yeah, that's what God damn it, Marcel. Derek's dad would do. And Margaret, they would take our keys.
Now you can start it with your fucking phone.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I get it, because the fact of the matter is, we were, I was talking to Landau about it last night. We were talking all about it and talking about what it was like to, we were at like 10 Mile, 11 Mile, and Middle Belt, Merriman, Inkster, that area. Dave was in, close to 8 Mile in wherever he was, Lake, whatever. But close enough to 8 Mile that it was like you were just really close to areas of town where no one gave a shit and people would buy you shit. I don't know if that still goes on. Like, if a kid came up to me now and I was walking to a store and was like, "Mister, would you buy me a 12-pack?" There's not a chance in hell I would.
Right.
No fucking way. Would I have, when I was 22, bought for a high school group of kids? Maybe. I don't know.
You know what's funny? I know they were different. Like, they got more serious about it as we've gone over, like, compared to when you were a kid and me. Like, I remember thinking when I turned 21, like, yeah, I'll just buy alcohol for friends. And then really when I did, I was like, I fucking never did it. Unless it was literally like I was going to my buddy's house and I was there drinking, and they were just like, the idea of like going to a place and they're like, oh yeah, I'll just buy. I was so paranoid that something would happen, that they would get in a crash, and somehow it'd be like, Eric, it turns out Eric bought them beer at Rite Aid or whatever.
And that would come out if the unthinkable happened.
Yes. And so so maybe when you were growing up, I'm sure, like you said, like, would you have bought a kid, when you were 22, would you have bought a kid some beer at the liquor store? I don't know how it was handled then, but I think by the time I was there, and I know I'm just a paranoid person, but in general, it felt like so strict, and like what could happen was so strict that I never did. Because I was
I know for me, we never thought about it. If it was like you had weed, it was like, who's got weed? Because that was illegal and a big deal. If the cops found weed on you, it was a big deal.
For sure.
Weed in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, that was an illegal, like, it was illegal for us to underage drink, but it was, it's a substance that's sold in every store on every corner. Right. Weed wasn't. And so it was like, it wasn't a big deal, but it was a big deal. And so we were buying weed and, oh yeah, here, this, that. Now, if that turned out to be laced with something and some kid died, and the thought of like, oh, they'd circle it back and they'd finger me for it, gross. Never crossed my mind. Like, I remember one time there was a bar that we liked going to at 12 in Middlebelt area, across the street from Roosevelt's. And they weren't real good with checking IDs, and we were going there when we were younger. And there was a group of kids in there, and one of those girls got on the freeway afterwards and died in a horrible accident on 696, I believe. And they pointed back to that bar, and it was shut down, and like liquor license gone. And I think it's that property too. So the people that tried to open there, it's like you could never get a liquor license there again. Like,
yeah.
It was a big fucking deal, man.
Yeah, it all sounds good in theory until something goes wrong, right? And then
Right.
you're the asshole mom who let underage kids come over and
Well,
drink.
that's the thing. If you do
know?
the story
Yeah.
that we had the keg in the basement and now some kid dies of alcohol poisoning.
Right.
Yeah,
What happens, right?
Derek's parents wouldn't let us leave. They didn't care if we brought girls over. They didn't care if girls spent the night. They didn't care. They were like, you guys aren't going anywhere and no one's driving. And so it was like, we'd all be knuckleheads. We'd be playing video games in this room and shooting pool downstairs and getting hammered.
Yeah.
It was free because his dad bought all the beer. So we didn't even have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And we weren't going anywhere. And when you're a kid, it's like, there's no such thing as a fucking hangover. Get out of here.
Kelly used to be such an asshole when I would ask her to buy me booze. She's 7 years older than me. Okay.
Yeah.
And we look identical. And so I could have very easily used her ID.
For
she never
sure
let
you
me
could.
use it ever.
You didn't
Never.
swipe it?
Nope. No, because she was fucking crazy about it, and I wasn't gonna like take it. She would have known 100%. She would have known that I took it. So I had to get like a different fake ID. And then even when I would ask her to buy me booze when I was underage, the one or two times she did it, which I would get to the point where like I would call anybody but her. If she was like the last option, I'd be like, fine, I'll call my sister. And it came with this long fucking lecture every single time. Like, if you get caught, who bought it for you? Blah, 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 blah. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Looks like
Jesus is getting busted for something.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like you were Ferris Bueller and Kelly was Ferris Bueller's sister.
Yeah, totally.
That just like fucking would never do it. Like hated Ferris.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, hell no. Like you had to avoid her.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to help Ferris out of a jam.
Right.
And I remember some of those kids too that had older brothers, older sisters. We had one.
I mean, she would help me out of a jam. She was fine, but it was just like that. She was so paranoid that if I got caught, I would turn her in and she would be in trouble.
The interesting thing is both of you guys are a decade younger than me. So in that 10 years, a lot changed. A lot. Like it got a lot more serious. Like, I'm not kidding when I say when we were drinking underage, like I laugh about it now, but if a cop pulled me and Troy over and we had a case of beer in the car, they'd pour it out. And it was like, these fucking asshole cops poured our beer out. You only had $12
driving around underage
drinking in the car, and the cops, all they did was pour it out.
I can't even fathom that.
I got pulled over multiple times, absolutely fucking obliterated. And they're like, you can walk home, mister. This car doesn't move. Multiple times pulled over, and they'd go, you are less than a mile from your house. This car in the driveway within 5 minutes. Go. Like, for real. So in that 10 years is kind of when MAD came about.
I feel like we have MAD to blame.
Yeah, like that.
Not to blame.
Those corrupt, whatever that thing is. I think the president of MAD recently got a DUI. I remember doing that story a couple of years ago. That's turned into, that's one of those, like the idea becomes a business, becomes a grift.
Yeah.
I think MAD, there's a lot of people that look sideways at that, for all the great work I'm sure they've done, but it no doubt made it a much more, so by the time you guys came of age and we're 18, we want to drink too, I think that it was frowned upon more than it was when I was coming up.
Yeah, for sure. I would say.
You know what I mean?
I mean, for me, the fear of God in me to even drive drunk. I mean, by the time I was 21, like I mean, as much as a
you've always been weird about it.
As much as a drinker as I am, I do not and have never messed with. One time, I had one really questionable time, but other than that, like literally, I would have slept in my car if I had to, because I just
you've slept at my house,
right?
Instead of leaving.
After I mean, it could be 4 beers. I mean, it's
dude. Yeah, I've seen you have like one beer and be like, shut it down. Like, because for a while there, Jesus, you remember the guys were coming over and setting up with cocktails. We'd have listeners over that Sunday night. You would never touch it.
No, because it's like in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to have to drive home and I don't want to deal with this. And
I had a friend who in college who drove home. I think he might have already had one DUI at some point, but he had a few drinks. He was out and he decided, I'm not good enough to drive. I'm just gonna like pull over and sleep it off in a parking lot or whatever.
I feel like this isn't going right.
But a cop pulled up. He had the keys in the ignition because it was winter time, and so he had the heat on. And they busted him. He was drunk, and they threw him in jail for 30 days. It was technically his second.
That one's bull crap to me, though. Like
that's kind of shitty to me too.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I agree. What are you supposed to do? I guess for you guys, nowadays you have Uber and all that, and every kid has that app,
right?
But there was a few gap years in there where that wasn't a prevalent thing. It's like, what are you going to call a cab at 2 a.m? And it's not New York City, right? Where we were all at, but yeah, it's weird.
I would say this. Having said that, I would, whether. I can. Yeah. I think it's a good overall. I would say it's a good thing. In reality, the idea of like scaring people not driving drunk is probably far better than worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In reality, and the people who are going to drive drunk are going to drive drunk anyway. By the way, for the most part.
Yeah, it definitely sent a message to the whole. There's probably plenty of people that still do it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But
sure.
I mean, they obviously
often. I rarely hear these days, as much someone's like, oh yeah, well, I've only had 4. I'm driving home or something. Like,
No, it's remarkable how much you can feel like, this doesn't affect me. I'm good. Like we've all had that feeling. Anyways, I don't even know how we got there, but did you see Robert De Niro's son?
Amy is paused this time, by the way. I know she's a good actor.
She's froze?
I think she's froze this time.
Can you hear us, Aim? Usually she'll duck out.
Okay.
If she's if she can hear us, we can't.
As I've
described, has she been like that for a while?
No, not that long. Only like a minute.
Yeah. What were you going to say? You look like
I was just saying, as we've talked about before, like there she ducks out now. But as I talked about before, like I've had times when I've been talking to her, and I'm like, and I've had to ask, like, did you freeze? And she's like, no, I'm still here. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing I said is interesting. Nothing has been said is interesting, I guess.
Dude, I know exactly that feeling. There's something about doing this where it's all about the engagement.
Yeah.
Amy's really good at multitasking.
Yeah.
And you and I are terrible at it. Like terrible at it. And I'm probably the worst of anyone here. So I'm counting on like looking up and seeing that you're looking at me and engaged.
Right.
And she's like this.
And no, I'm listening. I'm like, oh, okay.
And no, I'm getting it. And it's just, dude, Troy could do that too. It drove me fucking nuts. Drove me nuts because it was like, no, dude, we're watching the football game. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're playing fucking poker on your phone. What do you like?
Right.
Some people, I don't know.
I hear
it doesn't matter. But
she'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. There she is.
I think.
Can you hear us?
I was waiting for her to move, but now she's
Ames.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Could you hear us the whole time?
Nope.
No.
Nope. My internet just stopped working.
Yeah, this is the hardest part about doing this show and not being in a proper studio. So like in Michigan, I thought it was bad at times because the power could go out at any given moment. But I never had to worry that I'd be in mid-conversation and one of the people at the table would just freeze.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that never crossed my mind, and that's just the reality of
what
this
I
kind
need
of thing.
to know. I need to know something. Okay,
sure.
Maybe this is a grievance. I don't even fucking know, but I'm irritated. Okay,
I can tell.
also should be known that I'm PMSing. So I'm extra fucking irritated about this situation. Why is it that in the year of our Lord 2025, I pay a shit ton for internet and it is just like moving mountains for God forbid the internet to make it up 2 fucking flights of stairs to where I'm sitting right now. Apparently, the internet only works if you're sitting in the fucking basement of my home. That's the only place the internet works because we don't have the technology, apparently, to make it so that the Wi-Fi works in the whole fucking house.
Yeah.
Why is this an issue? I need to know. What the problem is.
It drives me nuts. It drives me
and I shouldn't
insane.
need an extender, by the way. I shouldn't. Do not email in and say, don't tell me how to fix the problem. I actually don't want a solution. I realize that there are solutions. I'm not looking for one. This is what happens when I have meltdowns. And my husband usually just sits and he listens to them. So that's what you guys are doing. I'm not looking for a solution.
Here's the
tell
difference,
me about
though.
extenders. I shouldn't
Here's
fucking
the problem.
need one.
Here's the problem. We don't get to see your titties, so we don't give a fuck. Like, your husband has to put up with it, but he gets the benefit of like, oh, I get to see some titties at the end of this, so it's worth it. Isis and I don't get that payoff, which is why we can go, shut up, old man pussy. Get an extender.
Right. No, it's bona fide.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, no offense. Obviously, no offense, Amy.
No, none taken.
I say that in all sincerity.
But
no,
seriously.
Dude, it drives me nuts, too, because I've got extenders. I've got, like, multiple boxes because I can't have it go down here. Yeah. I was, this idea of, like, really, Marshall can't play fucking video games upstairs while we're live?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What are we doing?
Right.
It's wild.
It's very first world of us.
I don't give a fuck. We live in the first world. So you know what? We were lucky enough to be born here. We're going to bitch about our problems.
Yes. our problems mean the world to us.
I didn't have to go walk 10 miles to get this cold, fresh water that I'm drinking. Nope. But my internet does go out from time to time. And it's very irritating. Okay?
Yeah. I agree.
So there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with your grievance.
This water sure does stay cold for a long time.
Is that spring water you're having? Did you see, by the way, I was just about to, before you went into a rage.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just about to say that I was shocked by this news yesterday. I tweeted it out last night how shocked I was that Bob De Niro's son is trans.
Shocking.
I can't. How old is his son?
Well, his son's at least old enough, 26.
Okay.
Something like that. 29.
Okay.
7th child with 4 different women. Aaron, Airyn, was the girl's name. Hold on. Let me make sure I have this right. Son Aaron, formerly Aaron, Aaron, is now going by Aaron, Airyn. Aaron also has a twin brother named Julian. There's a difference between being visible and being seen, Aaron said. Told one of the gay publications. I don't know which one. There's a few of them. I've been visible. I don't think I've been seen yet. Ugh. Just making that comment alone makes me hate these people so much. I've been like, Isis, if you popped on here and was like, Mike, Amy, I got to be honest.
Right.
I know I've been visible, but I don't feel like I've been seen yet. I would fly to Michigan just to punch you in the face. So I kind of have
to do that. You're so violent.
Well, I would. I know I've threatened to fly home and punch you in the face too.
Yeah. You said that yesterday.
I need it. I said it yesterday to you. I don't even remember what I was so angry about.
About
I said
the Pistons.
I said if you gave me an update on the Pistons game, I would fly home and punch you in the face.
That seems like quite a
overreaction.
Overreaction, yeah.
I've never punched a girl in the face yet. Not that I wouldn't punch her in the face. But I wanted to be crystal clear, like no fucking around. I'm not going to be watching the game. So anybody that's in my text circle needs to know that I'm very serious when it comes to the Lions, the Niners, or any of my teams in the postseason. Like, we don't fuck around like, oh, did you see that? Oh, I didn't say anything. Like, no.
Yeah.
I will punch people in the face. That's all I meant.
Sounds
and if
like
Isa
a first world
said
problem, Mike.
it is, oh, very much so. I don't know if you know this, but I was born in the first world, and so fucking people are gonna have to deal with it.
What are the second world countries? Like it's always you always say first and third.
Yeah.
It's second world. I feel like are
Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, places that like you could live there, but they like don't have actual freedoms. You could get jailed for like speaking.
But you never hear about them.
Yeah,
whatever the second world countries are.
It really is a battle of first world and then the rest, and the rest is the third world.
Right.
What? I'm gonna Google it.
There is. I've Googled this before, and I think you're sort of right, Amy. I can't remember exactly because I'm stupid, but
they're historically referred to countries with communist socialist systems like the Soviet Union. Today, it's more commonly.
I almost said China and Russia.
It's more commonly used to describe nations that are economically developing, but not yet as prosperous as first world countries, such as Turkey, Thailand, and South Africa.
Huh. So those are two? Those are second world?
Yeah. Three. Okay. Thailand, Turkey, and South Africa.
Do they sit there and like when there's like a new person running for office and say, I will get us into the first world.
Yeah, who's the governing body of who decides whether you've reached first world status or not? Who do you apply to?
That's a good question. Do you think they lie about it and be like, I don't care what anyone says. We are not second world citizens. We are first world. And everyone's like, yeah. And like, okay, Turkey. Sure you are.
Right. And if you grew up and like let's say you're a kid, it was second world, I guess. And then you grow up and you become first world. You then sit there with your kids and be like, you should be lucky. We used to be second world. Now we're first world.
Probably.
And like are places like in the Middle East that are like, is Abu Dhabi, is that considered first world?
That's first world. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say countries in the Middle East, and I'm like, no, that's more like seventh world. But
no, like
when you said, then you dropped Abu Dhabi, and I was like, yeah, you get into Morocco and Monaco. Is it Monaco?
Yeah,
Monaco maybe, and Abu Dhabi,
Dubai. What would you consider Dubai?
First, right?
Like, I think.
Yeah.
When you go. When the
the area as a whole is kind of shitty, right?
Surrounding. No, when I have to go, they have hot showers there, right? Like when that's a question I might lead with, that's like your second world for sure.
Yeah.
Second or third, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, third for sure. But I wouldn't ask that of the third world. I wouldn't expect that. But
imagine what a situation. You know, really, like people fucking talk about religion, all this bullshit, and it's like, look at how lucky. Well, why are these people born in the third world? Why? What is God's plan for those people? Why did they grow up in a place where they literally can't get water?
They don't think it like that, though. I don't think.
No, they don't know any better.
The Jeebus people?
Yeah, like the people who go to get like water.
I'm asking Jeebus why are people born there and why was I given this?
Because he likes America the best.
What is his explanation? I want the answer from
he's not going to tell you.
He's not going to tell you. E.
And by the way, those people in the third world,
he would say, "Look, dickhead, only one team can win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Don't ask me why 31 other teams didn't win it."
Exactly.
But then here's the problem. Like, so these people are born in this deal. They got a bad break. They're in the area, and if someone doesn't come down there and tell them about Jeebus, then they're really screwed because then they just
shut out of luck. Sorry about that.
What's God's explanation? They're all made.
He's going to say, "I gave you legs and arms. You could have fucking figured this out.
Exactly.
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
You were born on a rock somewhere. You didn't have to stay there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he wasn't in great circonstances, and he figured it out. You know.
What is his like?
Yeah.
I think one of the popular phrases is, "God doesn't give you more than you can handle." That's
really
one of the popular phrases that I hear from time to time.
That's the kid that's born with cancer.
Yep.
Kid can handle it.
Yep.
Oh, thank God. God wouldn't have given this to you if you couldn't handle it, kid. So
no, it's kind of like a flow chart. It's like a flow chart. So in that scenario, it's more so like you know, something better is not better, but something good is going to come out of this. You know, you're going to be helping a bunch of other kids with an organ donation.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And what is God's take on killing all these people in the name of his
Jesus, have you heard the term, I work in mysterious fucking ways? Quit asking questions.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, you're not supposed to know everything right now.
Hello.
All right.
You're not supposed to know everything.
We're asking the real questions over here, like about the Virgin Mary and was she really a virgin? Not, you know.
Yeah.
Right. What a scenario.
Well, nowadays we would laugh. Yeah. We would laugh at that and be like, bitch, yeah.
Sure she is. Yeah.
There's probably been a ton of people at this point that have claimed it. Think about that, by the way. There's probably been tons of people in the last 150, 200 years even that have just claimed that. Like, oh, crazy.
And also, like, imagine somebody now proclaiming to be someone like Jesus. We would think that they were batshit crazy. Like L. Ron Hubbard, for example. We think he's batshit crazy.
Yeah, and what does the church
like back
take
then,
by the way?
You know?
Yeah, and what would the churches take me on it? What if I went to a Catholic church and said, "Hey, I know this is crazy, but I'm Jesus. I came back down. I know we thought it was going to be a big deal the next time, but it's not, and it's me." Would they be okay with that?
You'd have to put on a performance. You'd have to at least do some stand up, tell your hooker stories or something.
Some stand up, hover some water around in the air. So I mean, why isn't the magicians we see?
Dude, I've seen some magicians on TikTok where I'm like, if he claimed Jesushood, he could fool some people for real.
Right.
Like for real. I've seen some card guys that are just like, you could fool some people for sure.
Have they found a new pope yet?
No.
How long does
it'll be a big deal.
It takes a while.
It takes a minute. Yeah. You'll know when the white smoke happens. You're in the first world. Don't worry. You'll get notified.
What goes on in those meetings?
I would love to know. I'd love to know.
What is said? I want to know the minutes.
How many accusations does this guy have? Pull out his file. Let's see.
Yeah. Scrub his socials.
Right. Think about that now. You'd have to.
There's a lot of white robes and tall hats sitting in a round table right now trying to figure this out.
Look at that. Think about that now. Like the new pope, he will probably have had a Twitter account or something.
You know what? That's kind of funny you say that because I had a thought as I was watching on 2x speed the highlights from the Pope's funeral the other day. And, there were all those people with the big hats. I think they're the cardinals. But some of them are sitting there and they're recording it on their phones. And I'm like, you're a cardinal.
Yeah.
At the Pope's funeral. Why do you have your phone
a lot of hits on my Insta.
Yeah. That's what
use the right hashtags. Make sure to use the right hashtags.
Yeah. It's like, gosh, you can't even put your phone down. And you want me to put my phone down at your service? Come on now.
Yeah. And what are they going to hashtag Pope Strong? Like,
right,
dude.
And like there's not a million HD cameras in the sky recording every second of this. So if you really wanted to go back and watch it.
In the funeral, there are cardinals recording the funeral.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
What are they doing with that?
I know.
No,
and I was
weird.
Just like, this is crazy. And wearing sunglasses, which also struck me as odd for some reason.
Yeah, that is odd.
Like, why are they wearing sunglasses?
Remember the last time you like, because we think of it as ancient traditions and the behaviors and everything. Like the last one, me and J&E were on the air covering that when the white smoke came up. Dude, it was a week, and there's pictures of Frank in like a leather jacket, and he was a bouncer at a bar, kind of a shit kicker. Like it was like, yeah, he was a bouncer at a bar. Like you think of him as floating above and holier than thou, and this is a life's mission since birth. And it's like, nah, he was a bouncer at a fucking bar.
Right.
And now he's the
weird, the Pope, just some dude who ends up running the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know. It's all so weird to me the more I've gotten older.
Yeah. Well, going back to De Niro's son, we'll go out on this story and then we'll do some emails. So Aaron has discussed recent media coverage claiming it had portrayed him incorrectly. He especially took issue with being called a Nepo baby. Dude, if you're not a Nepo baby, then who the fuck is? Are you kidding? You're Robert De Niro's kid?
Right.
They just sort of reminded me that people really don't know anything about me.
You're right. I didn't even know who he was until you just told me his name today. So
yeah,
you're right. That is true.
That, by the way, that's true of like all of us. So,
Right.
And the only reason this is even newsworthy is because you're Robert De Niro's kid.
Right.
I wasn't brought up having a side part in one of Dad's movies or going to business meetings or premieres. My dad was very big on us finding our own sort of path. I would want success to happen on my own merit. Sure. And if it doesn't work out on your own merit, Aaron,
now you got LeBron James' kid on the LA Lakers.
Yeah.
Drafted to the Lakers for some reason.
The Nepo baby part is what leads to that net that means that you can never truly fall. Right. So when it doesn't work out on your own merit, thank God you got Bob De Niro's catalog sitting there. This is the part that's so funny. I was told growing up I was too much of something or not enough of something, too big, not skinny enough, not black enough, and then too masculine. It was never just, you're just right, just the way you are. Yeah. Welcome to the world, kid. Aaron said, the influence Black women have had on me led him to start hormone therapy last November. The turning point occurred after seeing the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid and deciding to get braids. I'd want to hopefully be an inspiration for at least one other person like me who is Black and queer, who's not a size extra small. I'd want to see more trans women, more Black women who are maybe bigger bodied or don't fit the mold, blah, blah, blah. Like, what is going, like, that's not how trans works, Aaron. And if you had a real fucking dad, if Bob De Niro was a real father who cared about you, he would tell you seeing a live action remake of The Little Mermaid isn't grounds for turning trans and sticking your body with a bunch of fucking hormones. Moron.
Right.
This is just, I don't know. I don't even know what to make of these people anymore. The meltdowns we see from the Bob De Niros, the Rosie O'Donnells, name them. And all I can come back to is like, whether Katy Perry now, I'm an astronaut, fuck off. Like, I don't understand how these people don't see how they come off to other people. And all I can think is you've got the people, Bob De Niro probably hasn't had anyone like seriously saying no to him for 50 years.
Right.
Like, who's going to tell Bob De Niro no?
Yeah.
Who's going to tell Bob De Niro's kid no? And so you're getting this. So when you have an election like you did in November and Trump won, these people can't make sense of this. It's like telling them no for the first time. Your idea didn't sell to the country. No matter how much you want it, no matter how much you believe that anything you want is just a phone call away. The rules don't apply to you. Laws don't apply to you. Rules it doesn't matter. No matter what you ask, no matter how absurd, someone will make that happen for Bob De Niro and Bob De Niro's kid probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So
totally.
if you that's not how body dysmorphia works, right? So if you didn't have a fucking whack job of a father who's banging, spitting out 7 kids at 80 years old with random chicks, like that tells me I don't know what's going on in that household, but it doesn't sound healthy.
Right.
Doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah.
Like that's not how trans work. It's insulting to actual people that have body dysmorphia. In this case, I'd go, you're 29. You want to fucking doll yourself up and knock yourself out, sweetheart. I don't know what to tell you, Aaron. It wasn't good enough just being a gay guy. Now you need the attention and the magazine articles to come out and say you're trans. Okay, cool. I think it's dangerous. God forbid people look up to you and think, maybe I'll someday watch a live action remake of Little Mermaid and turn trans too.
To be fair, we didn't even fucking know this guy existed until 5 seconds ago. So hopefully nobody's looking up to him or her or whatever.
Well, you just see it all over the country. Like where you see bursts of this going on in these super, super, super liberal enclaves where it's common. It's not an SNL skit where you see a celebrity go, I have 4 kids. This one's trans. This one's non-binary. And this one, and it's like, yeah, that's statistically an impossibility. How come all of the people on your street, how come you have 12 kids in a classroom of 30 that are trans? What's going on there? That's not science. That's not happening all over the country. It's happening where this behavior is going on. So I don't know. It's sad. I find it sad in a lot of respects.
Sad.
But, I also find it hard to have a heart for it. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how to fucking raise your kids or how to do this properly, but something in the water is off there. The rest of the country seems to have figured it out, and it's sad. It's tragic when you have something that, is going on internally with a human being that's not working out. I always thought Bruce Jenner probably struggled with body dysmorphia on some level his whole life. It probably led to him being a tremendous Olympian. And, who am I to say that neurological wiring wasn't off with Bruce Jenner and became Caitlyn Jenner? But that doesn't mean Bob De Niro's kid watches a live, like, this is really, you said that in a quote. You watched a live, black women taught me how to, like, dude, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. All right, let's do some.
Hang on. I was really quick. I was looking for a picture of the Cardinals using their phones, and I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, but I did find this that I thought you would think was funny, Eric.
Are they on iPhones and stuff?
Oh my God, they're taking a selfie.
They're just all on a bus together and fucking taking selfies, which is hilarious.
On the way to the funeral.
Hilarious.
On the way to the funeral. And then, can you see this still?
Yeah.
Is that dictastory? What is that? Vatican's?
Well, but look at this poor guy. He gets caught in this group photo, and he's got a finger up his nose.
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Right here.
Where am I looking?
Right on the right, kind of by the We Choose Hope ad or whatever.
Do you see
I see
it?
the Asian cardinal.
No,
I see the guy
wait.
Here.
No, hang on. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. Hang on.
Okay.
I'm not, because I feel like I am.
No, you're seeing
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus is making stuff up now. He's not seeing shit.
This is what I want you to see. Do you see this guy right here?
No. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I see the Klan hats. The fuck's going on there?
Right here, this guy. Oh, fucking motherfuck. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
On the left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. He's deep, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different one. Yeah, you're right.
I was
What's
like,
with the hats?
I know. It's so creepy.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope God doesn't take issue with us one day. Like, what were you making fun of my dope hats for? I personally sent those down there, and you guys are fucking around on it like it's a joke.
Right.
I gave them sweet robes, dope hats, a lot of them bedazzled and bejeweled. And you guys found that funny? Why? Have a seat. Let's talk about this.
Well, I can tell him some things. I'll have some questions for him as well.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have some follow-ups for him too.
Right. But
the
hats, okay, you take issue with the hats. Like I said, I'll take issue with the child cancer. How about that?
Yeah, fair enough.
That's your reason.
I'm not telling him how to do his job. You want to go in there, kick the door in, and start giving God shit stuff. Right. I'd be thankful you're up there in the meeting, to be honest with you, especially with some of your behaviors.
Okay.
Hey, don't go any.
Oh boy.
God damn it. I was going to read emails that pertain to her. So I'll do this one first. She's hilarious, dude. Do you deal with this? Is this common?
I will say she doesn't just get up in the middle of the talk.
Is it common that she just fucks off whenever she wants?
No, that's not too common. It's rare, I would say.
It's funny. It's that time of the month we found out today.
Yeah.
So you're seeing we got to be careful. She might start throwing stuff at us.
I know. Uh-oh.
I can hear you now.
Oh, there she is. You couldn't hear us before?
No.
What's going on over there? You just stormed off. I was about to read emails for you.
My dogs are just barking. They're just fucking barking at nothing.
Right. Their dogs are very cool, but also very frustrating at times.
God, it's just like, what the fuck are you barking at?
Invest in a muzzle.
Oh my God.
Miggy will sometimes just sit there, and I'll be on the couch, and he'll just be bark. And I play a game.
Yeah, you're the dog sitter.
Right. And I'll play a game where I'm like, I'm not going to respond. So I'll just sit there and stare at him.
Yeah.
And he'll just bark. And at some point, he gets to a point where I swear, I think he is like stubborn. Like I think he realizes that he's barking for no reason.
What does he want? Treats or something? Can you buy him off?
No, I've never figured it out in 5 years of dog sitting. I think I've dog sitted for 5 or 6. Actually, I've dog sitted for more than 5 years. I think I started like in 18 or something. Oh boy.
Can you imagine dealing with that?
This is a hot mic situation.
Yeah. Hold on, can you hear?
Please don't say a racist thing.
Crazy.
Please don't say the N-word.
Yeah, don't say the N-word.
Actually, this is actually
no,
Amy. This is actually kind of comforting to me. Because I talked with her finally about this mic one time. I'm like, how did the dogs act with you versus me? Like, is it just that because I don't watch them all the time. I'm not, but there was a period in time where I was going there a few times a year. And I was asking her, like, how do they act with you? Would they like, do they do these things to you? And she's like, no.
Bad. They act fucking bad. Yeah. That's how they act.
Diesel's riles Miggy up.
Yes, that was Diesel I just had to yell at both times is Diesel. And he's deaf, so he can't hear anything. So I have to get up and go, like, slap him out of it.
And then he gives you this look, Mike, like, like,
what did you want? I am a Roops.
Yeah. He was just digging through the garbage. Like, you're 14. Why do you act like that still?
Dude, Mike, if you fucking cook food at her house and you put it on the island or whatever, Diesel will not leave until that food is taken care of.
No, he will not forget that it's there.
He will never forget that it's there.
Did you give him a lot of people food?
I guarantee that's why he was just barking and I had to go like yell at him downstairs because I left the pizza out on the table and I guarantee that's what he's been barking at this whole time.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I one time
just give him a slice.
Oh, I'm fucking busy.
It's never enough. It's never enough for one, by the way. But like I one time was watching her dogs at her old house and I was in the basement area and a bread thing had somehow slipped behind the couch. And the rest of the time I was there, he would just keep running to that spot and fucking just
He's like, I know something's back there.
Yeah, their noses
that's
are
what
amazing.
I always say. Once his nose stops working, once he stops that kind of shit, that's when I know he's
Yeah. Well, anyway, all right, let's do a couple emails.
All right.
And we'll get out of here for the night. Yeah. When are the Pistons on again? Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow
night?
Thursday, depending on when you're listening to this.
Yes. Karen Reed.
I don't know if today's the day you want to get on my bad side.
Oh, dude, it's not me. You can't get mad at me.
No, I'm just warning any of the listeners.
Like, I'm just the messenger.
FYI.
I am always just the messenger. You can't fucking attack me.
Oh.
I'm just giving a disclaimer to the listeners.
I'm the guy that, dude, I'm just the neighbor coming over like, hey, your garage door's open. That's it.
All right, let's hear it.
Can we please put the Karen Reed updates at the end of the show so it's easier to fast forward past? Nobody gives a flying fuck about this trial or any like it. The only ones who care are nosy white women who need a hobby. P.S. Where's Rod? They're after my goat too. It's not just your goat.
Yeah,
they're trying.
Well, luckily for that me or them, I don't know. They can't get my goat. So
they're trying to get in your kitchen. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
trying to kick in the fucking door to your kitchen.
Yeah, good thing you actually have nosy white bitches that listen to this podcast. So there is a market for that story.
Yeah.
How about that? And by the way, I've just got a quick question.
Sure.
I'm not like, I've been more listening to YouTube, so I'm not totally familiar as of late with the fast forward button on the podcasting app. But is it easier to use when you want to fast forward towards the end of the show, or is it the same difficulty of usage? The fast forward button.
What's the point of whether it's at the beginning or the end?
Is it harder to use the fast forward button at the beginning of a show?
Again, this is where the obtaining your goat part comes in, because the 15-second or 10-second skip thing it works the same.
Oh, it
at
works
the beginning, middle, or end. Yeah.
Oh,
so this is where
I wasn't sure on that. I needed clarification. I just wasn't totally sure.
Well, Chris was jockeying for position into your kitchen, and he thought he found a way, and you blocked him right there. You were like, well, fast forward in the middle. Fast forward in the beginning. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you can figure that out.
Shador Sanders. guys, if you watch the video of Shedeur Sanders' prank call video, he asks who he thought was the owner of the Saints to say who he was a second time because he wanted to put it on speakerphone and for the multiple cameras he had. He heard him the first time. What a disrespectful piece of shit that dude is. Other NFL GMs have come out to say that in interviews, Shedeur had headphones around his neck with music playing and didn't give a fuck to be at the end. Fuck that guy. I hope he fails miserably. Also, the whole time you were talking about Shedeur, I was waiting to see how Lady Isis was going to make it into a Karen Reed bullshit angle.
Did I?
No, you did.
That would have been a sweet connection if I did, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the Shedeur one, I picked up on the exact same thing. If you're watching that prank call and it's like, hi, this is so-and-so GM from the Saints. And he's like, we're about to draft you. He's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Puts it on speaker and goes, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Like, this is the moment. Like, dude, even in that moment, you weren't professional enough or respectful enough. You wanted to capture it on camera for all these people to have this moment. Like, everything about that was disrespectful. This is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. To like, yeah, dude, I don't give a shit who your dad was. Your dad could have behaved like this because your dad was Deion Sanders. You, sir, are no Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like when Bronny James wouldn't, like they didn't want him to go to away games because they didn't want him to fly like a regular airplane. It's like,
really?
Yeah.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if this is, I saw Jason Whitlock talking about the Shedeur Sanders thing, and he really thinks it's an insecurity thing with Deion. And Isis, if you got to bounce, you can bounce. I know it's late.
I'm so sorry, dude. I kind of got to get going.
Yeah, go,
all right,
go beat it.
See ya.
Amy and I will wrap up. Don't worry about it. It's
all
awesome having you here. I'll see you next week.
Yep. Probably be on Wednesday,
Pistons.
but I'll talk to you about it later. But
okay. Perfect.
Right,
yeah, I could always tell when Isis is fading.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go. Get out of here. What were we saying there, Ames? About Shedeur?
Shedeur. Jason Whitlock.
Yeah. Whitlock was talking about just how it's obvious this is such an insecurity when it comes to Deion, this flash, and it doesn't exude confidence, true confidence in oneself. It's such a flash. Like, I have to have $200,000 of diamonds on, scream legendary, like all of that stuff. I think he's right.
Yeah. For sure.
Like,
for sure.
You tried to sell something. And I'm just really grateful that at the end of the day, it still holds true that the NFL is what it is. It's a grown-ass man's league, and those grown-ass men are not going to be followed around like a high school locker room looking up to the star quarterback, or even a college locker room with 100 kids, 50 of which are never going to see the field, and not getting paid like they are in the NFL. Like, the NFL is still what it is. Like, you deliver or you go away. And the Bronny James story was a little insulting. Like, God, have we gotten to the point where because you're LeBron, you can eke a spot onto a roster for a kid that doesn't belong there?
Yeah.
But the NFL doesn't play that game. The NFL doesn't play that game. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I always go back to, and maybe this is the white guy in me, or maybe, I understand kids are how they are, but there was a video a couple years ago or a year ago, and it was the 49ers team walking onto the field or something. It was, one of those showcases for season ticket holders or an autograph session or something. And Brock Purdy's there and a bunch of his teammates walking out. And one of his teammates is wearing like a bedazzled cowboy hat or something and tries to put it on Brock's head. Like, yeah, hey, we're filming this. We got the music going. We're dancing. And Brock wouldn't have anything to do with it. He was, no, dude. It's like Cam Ward throwing the ball in spring tryouts with Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur's like, hey, man, we should do a video together, a rap song. And he's like, what else are you into? And he's like, football, dog. Football. Cam is like, football. I'm a football player. No, I'm not doing a fucking rap song with you, you idiot. And Brock Purdy, it's like, yeah, no, I want my franchise representative, because let's be honest, in the NFL, your quarterback is the representative of your city, your franchise. Aren't you glad the Lions have who they have representing them? That we don't have to worry about our quarterback worrying about his rap fucking video.
Right. For sure.
Dude, I want Tom Brady. I don't care if he yells at teammates on the sideline, if he's that impassioned. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I want their, like, it's too serious. There's too much money involved. There's too many people that care about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you have thoughts, but
no, I mean, I think it's, we've hit that. I mean, I think he just, thinks he's better than he is, and trying to live up to be his dad, and more, the fame and the celebrity and is more important to him than being a good football player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
do you think he washes out of the league in a couple of years?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
He wasn't
even no, I'm not rooting for it. I mean, if he has a great comeback story and he becomes the next Russell Wilson or Tom Brady, I mean, hey, more power to him. I'm not ever going to root for somebody to fail. I don't think that that's fair, but I also realized that he did things and acted ways that made him drop and made his draft stock fall, and that's on him. So he's got to work out of that hole.
Yeah.
But if he does, great. I mean, why I wouldn't want him to do bad. It's not.
I think it's absolutely 100% true that it cost him $20 to $40 million. That drop would 100% not have happened to that extent if not for his father and their behavior. Period. He would have.
Yeah, I think it was more the behavior.
Yeah, because when you get drafted in the 5th round, that is 100% like you're a project. At best, a backup is all we see you as. And having the circus that is your dad and your camera crew, and that comes with it. Maybe you put up with that if it's a legit first round talent, that it's like, you know what, we're willing to put up with this nonsense. But can you imagine, like, that's going to be interesting in Cleveland, because there's dog shit on that roster. Cleveland's going to suck. And
Perfect,
it's like
toxic place for him, though.
Yeah. The amount of people that are going to be chanting for Shedeur Sanders to come in the game. Like
after the Watson debacle.
Oh, yeah. Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. I think they got like 4 quarterbacks. They drafted a quarterback before Shedeur Sanders in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I tweeted a joke about it. A raper, a rapper, a duck, and something else walk into a room. Something like that. It was like, yeah, you've got Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders. Then they drafted the Oregon Duck quarterback, and Kenny Pickett. It's like, imagine that's your QB room. Please, Jared Goff, just stay upright and just keep being a good guy. I love seeing him at the Pistons game, cheering his ass off, or a Tigers game. Cool. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, baby girl.
Okey-doke.
Feel better. Go yell at your dog.
He's giving me a cute face, so now I got to go give him kisses.
Yeah, you got to give him let him licks. Let him give those licks to mama's face.
Yeah.
We'll do a member show tomorrow, patreon.com/TDC Podcast. That's tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
hopefully we can do that right in the middle of the Pistons game. That'd be fun. Dude,
we can go different time if you want. Totally we can.
We'll text about it.
I'm right there with you. Just send me a text, whatever.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Have a great night, everybody. We'll be back manana. We'll see you then.